Hello and welcome to
Hey, hey, we like your pod. Oh, what a time to be a Packers fan. Oh my God. Oh,
We Like Your
man.
Pod. Oh my God, Maddie,
Dawn.
it's about time. Sorry we're late. Sorry we're okay. It's my fault. Okay. So remember this, you guys, because this might be history in the making. Where were you the moment you heard that Micah Parsons became a Packers?
Yeah, take a minute. Think about that. Dawn, how about you? What's your story?
Okay, well, that's why we're a little late. It's my fault as usual. So I have the weirdest, bizarre story, of course. So I was at the foot surgeon having glass taken out of my foot.
Of course you are.
My God, of course I was. That I didn't know was there. Anyway, he found it, and it was very lengthy procedure. And it was my foot surgeon who gave me the news. What?
What?
So he's holding my foot, and he's got like all these like cutting and all this stuff that I don't even know. And he's a Lions fan. And so I couldn't get too giddy or, for a couple of reasons, because that would be rude. He's a Lions fan, which I found out while he was trying to take the glass out of my foot.
How did that even come up?
Okay, so I think he was trying to keep me. He was a good doctor. I really like him. I think my regular foot surgeon wasn't there, so he was said.
Wait, hold on, Dawn. Your regular foot surgeon?
Well, because because like a few years ago I broke my foot and I ran 3 half marathons on it, and so I had to have 2 surgeries. Yeah. And so I have a foot surgeon on retainer. So anyway, yeah. So he's trying to distract me because I wasn't put under or anything like that. And I was already in pain. Like I couldn't put weight on my foot for over a week. So he was trying to distract me. And he said, "So what are you doing tonight?" Or, something, whatever. And I mentioned our podcast. I said, "Oh, well, I have a podcast to record tonight." "Oh, what's your podcast about?" "Oh, well, it's the NFL. Well, I'm a Packer fan and it's the NFL." And he's like listening. "Oh, how nice," and all that. And I said, do you, I can't remember what he said, but I can't remember the exact order, but like I asked if he liked football, and he said, "Well, I'm from Michigan." And I'm like, "Oh, well, the Lions are doing so well, aren't they?" That's how I feel. And I said, "I used to like your coach, but he gets on my nerves now. But other than that, yeah." And then so he got the glass out like a million hours later, and we were saying goodbye. And I'm like, "Well, have a nice season." Because you're not like favored to win the division anymore. But okay. I mean, I knew it now because I knew Micah was on the radar, so I knew what it could mean. So yeah. Anyway, that's where I was.
So when you said "have a nice season," you knew at that point?
No, he told me during the procedure. As he was taking the glass out. So it was like a half hour later. We were saying goodbye and
gotcha.
Getting the glass out of my foot. Thanks for getting the glass out of my foot. Then I hop in the Uber, and we had uncharacteristic for us. We had 3 raindrops today, and so there was this rainy drop thing going on. And I hop in the Uber, and he said something about the rain or whatever, and it was humid. And he said, "Yeah, it's like Midwest humid." And I said, "Oh, are you from the Midwest?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm from Michigan." And I said, Oh, are you a Lions fan? I'm like trolling in real life, in my life. I'm going to get murdered. Anyway, so he's like, yeah. And I said, oh, because I was just talking to my doctor about that. Did you hear about Micah Parsons? So I was like not holding back at all. I had great fun with it, but I couldn't be too giddy because I was in the present. I didn't want to be rude. I wanted to be a troll, but a nice troll, you know. So I'll never forget it. Where were you? Were you at work?
I was wrapping up at work, and there was, without getting into the weeds on this, there was some drama with selling the house, some back and forth with the buyer. I won't get into that, but it was like it was frustrating. And then at the same time, I kind of like irritated about that. Then I've been watching, of course, the notifications on my phone. I always do, but more like a hawk the last couple of days in case something happens with the trade. So I'm there like trying to think like, how do we deal with this situation with the home buyer? Then I see, Matt Schneidman had one a little bit earlier before it was actually announced that was like, Packers are signing Micah, not Parsons, the other one, Micah Robinson, and it's just like, I never saw that one.
Like a tease.
But I was like, I got to keep watching. Something's going to happen here. And then when it came across, so my older kid like actually rides the bus to my office now, and we drive home together, which is really cool. But so she's sitting there, and I'm like, so like flailing around. It's like I'm in a professional work environment. I can't go running down the halls, but like that's all I want to do is run out and scream. And so like when she, like in a minute, I was like, hey, can you just close the door? So I was able to like kind of like go kind of crazy for a minute there. Yeah, the thing is, like, I saw it come through it like on my lock screen, and I was like, no way. Click through it, and like then all of a sudden, like the notification is just like bing, 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 bing. It was like all the different reporters that I have on notifications are posting about it, and just I couldn't believe it. Don,
you can't believe it. I believe it. It was funny because I saw your texts. But I was like in the middle of all that, and I was like, yes, I was trying to keep everything, calm, and I didn't want the Uber driver to like, take me out and kill me because I'm a Packers fan. You know how they get. And yeah, so I was like trying to keep everything on then I got home and I'm like, then I run into in the hallway my neighbor who's a 49ers fan. He's like, closes the door. Oh, hey, Don. Oh, hi, Tim. Did you hear about, I couldn't wait. And he knew everything. He knew all the details of the trade and money and
big
all
news.
that.
Big news.
He's like, it's a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Super Bowls are expensive.
Exactly.
But that's okay. He said the same thing about when we got Aaron Banks from 49ers. That's a lot of money. Like,
that was.
I'm okay with it. It is. Well, but it's the devil's in the details too, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely true. But it's been really fun just like being on Twitter and Blue Sky and kind of seeing what people are posting and stuff like that. You've got just a really fast sampling here, Don. You've got, of course, Aaron Ellis like throwing up hilarious, art.
Oh, I didn't even have a chance to see it.
Absolute art, of course. We have a really great Micah Parsons posted like an amazing like hype video, which is hilarious. Like, I mean, go for it, man. It's
I can't
excellent.
Wait to see it.
A lot of people are doing things like interspersing Micah Parsons with Reggie White because it's destiny. This is the Reggie White moment of this era, obviously, right? So people like everyone's making the comparisons, but you see people like making videos interspersing things. Johnny Barks put out a really good one, for example. Cheesehead TV had a great video. Stuff's coming out, fast and furious here, and then combine those things with Dusty's like throwing clips up on Twitter of Micah Parsons just trucking dudes. You got people just bagging on the Cowboys. You have Kay Adams up in here saying like, thanks you got, or like, you're welcome, glad to help make this happen, stuff like that. It's just a feast.
It's pretty funny.
I feel like I can't form a coherent thought, Don. I'm just so excited. I'm going to be excited for a while on this.
Right. And that's good. I mean, what a way to start the season. The preseason is over. Seriously. The roster cuts have happened and it's like, bam, wow, that's fun. That's a great way to hype into the season. What does Joe have to say?
Joe's a funny thing he threw in that. By the way, hey Joe, hey True North, and say hey to you guys. Yeah, thanks for being here. Joe says Fleece was trending on for a while on Twitter.
Wow, hilarious. Joe made a funny post on Blue Sky. It was that meme of the kid sitting in the high chair and somebody throws a piece of like Velveeta cheese at its forehead and it sticks. And Joe said, "What did you say, Joe?" Pat, I don't want to blow it. Joe can tell us what he said. And True North, hey to you. And it wasn't my cat. It was. Don't ask me about the foot in the glass. It just happened. I love Kenny, but the Packers are going to move on to him next year anyway. True. And it is sad to all the best to Kenny. Just it's always sad to see someone that you love go.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been like the model of an amazing Packer, the whole time, just a steady presence. Even in his down years, it's better than a lot of other players' good years. And apart from that, being a great ambassador for the G. And he's been on Lombardi's Bar, which of course I'm involved with as the producer on that show. He's been on that show like at least once a season, I believe.
Right.
So it stings to lose him. Of all the players, there's only a small handful that I'd say that about, and he's easily one of them. So there's
I didn't know that
little
part.
Thing.
I didn't know that part till I got home and kind of was like digesting everything. I was like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's like on balance, obviously.
Yes.
I can only be so upset. I can only be so upset about it because it's obviously amazing overall.
Right.
So.
Right. Hopefully they handled it well with sensitivity and all of that jazz. So.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So Joe didn't answer. So let me look at what Joe said because I thought it was really good. It was the meme of the kid. It says, Packers to the league today, and it was the little kid getting the cheese thrown on his head and sticking. It's like, I don't know why that's funny because it's really mean. Don't throw cheese at your children. That's not nice.
We here at Hey We Like Your Pod take a firm anti-throwing cheese at your kids' head stance.
Yes, please don't do that as much as you want to throw things at your kids.
As much as they may provoke you with their beady little eyes someday.
Yes. Well, before we get to our regular scheduled programming, because this is such big news, and it really is kind of historic. I mean, boy, even all the big national coverage jumped on with emergency podcasts and shows, and even Jerry Jones, because he was feeling so much heat, just like an hour ago, scheduled an emergency press conference, pretending like everything was planned and normal and all that.
What a clown.
Which of course we know it's not. What a dumb move. Whatever. Sorry, Packers fan. But all I can say is one of my first thoughts was Micah Parsons. He just wanted to be a player for America's team. He was tired of being a player for the frauds. He wanted to be on America's real team.
That's right. Fan owned. That's America's team right there.
Yeah. No, but truly, one of the things I thought about was Micah Parsons. He had a couple of choices. It wasn't like the whole league was ready to pay him and could step up. Only a few, teams could afford this. But he, in my opinion, and from what he was not getting what he wanted at Dallas. It's been news all summer. This isn't news. It's not like he was playing and he was playing for practice and he was being paid. Like there was a problem there. So, but he wanted to go to a team that had Super Bowl prospects. He did. And that says a lot. Like he thinks the Packers, he and his agent think the Packers are a good move for his career. Because this is a player that has a future with the right team. And he thinks, and so that's pretty cool to think that he thinks the Packers are the right team for him. And so I thought that was pretty telling. And as far as Jerry, it's like, why did you do that? Because the Packers are in the same conference. Like, at least
And we play them this year too.
Yeah, and we're playing them in a month. That's going to be great. Like whatever. But okay. So and I felt like immediately almost, well, it took me an hour to think, but after I could think again, I was thinking, we've been hearing a lot year after year that the Packers are just a year away, or this is the year, and we're close and we get to the playoffs. And to me, this was a pretty aggressive move on the part of management and ownership management of the Packers, that they're ready this year to go for it. Like this is about as ready as you're going to get. They know how close we've been the last couple of years and what we needed. And they got it done. And they made this move that some people are going to say, oh, that's a lot of money. But you know what? If it means a Super Bowl, everybody's going to be like, well, that was pretty smart.
Yes.
Right. So, but it tells me that Micah Parsons thinks the Packers are ready. And so does management. It's not just lip service, because when you have a really good team like the Packers that you're a fan of and they get so close all the time and don't make it, because it's been, since 2010, since they've been to the Super Bowl, right? That's 15 years. You're wondering, is this, to me personally, it's like, is this just a line? Are they just like leading us on to get the money and sell shirts and stuff and tickets? But this tells me they're putting their money where their mouth is, and that they think that we're that close. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. It really is like when Brian Gutekunst said the thing about like urgency, earlier in the spring, I think it was. It felt, okay, what does that mean? This is what that means. This is like we're pushing the chips into the middle of the table. Like we're doing this, and as Packers fans, we've had the occasional splash signing, but nothing like crazy. Not since it's not since Woodson, I guess, really, and that kind of level. And like, I mean, I will say, not to say anything bad about like Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs. That was a huge duo, but Micah Parsons, that's ridiculous. That's Woodson. That's Reggie White level stuff we're talking about here. So you don't make that move lightly. You only do that if this is going to be what you need to push it over the top. And we, just the betting odds today flipped very quickly. The Packers are now listed as like most likely are in like I think like the top 5 of Super Bowl contenders in the odds right now. Like, this is seismic. This doesn't just move the needle; it breaks the needle gauge. So I think you're exactly right. Like this is a sign that no, they're serious when they're saying like this is the urgency's here. This is time.
Yeah. So, and then my third takeaway is, okay, so the Packers, I think, were already the youngest team. They've been the youngest team for a couple of years. And then by moving Kenny out, they're for sure the youngest team, because Kenny was probably one of the older. But here's the thing. So I was thinking about the 2 number 1 first round picks for next year. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of, but guess what? If you're the youngest team and you've been drafting, developing, that's your thing, and you're that close to Super Bowl ready, theoretically, of course, it's only theoretic. We haven't played one game yet, but if you're that close, and even like you say, the Las Vegas thinks so, we're in the top 5, and we were already in the top 10, then those draft picks are well spent, because if you have the youngest team, you've been developing that team, what are you going to do with all those draft picks?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're not going to ever need them, but it's worth spending them at this time when you're this close. So I thought that was, because I know that was one of my first thoughts. It's like, oh, the money wasn't a big deal because we were in a good position and had some money put away. And I was kind of snickering because a lot of people were like, why aren't you spending that money, Brian? And it's like, well, I think he's going to spend the money at the right time. And he sure did. But the draft picks, it's like, I was like, oh, but then I thought about it. It's like, well, they're the youngest team, and they have so many people they're developing, and they probably aren't even going to play half of their picks this year as first rounders until next year at the soonest. So I think that was a good move too. So those were my 3 takeaways. And hi to Emma.
Hey, Emma.
Hey, Emma. So
yeah, Dawn, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to like form coherent thoughts around this, because I'm just babbling and just like spewing my excitement, and you know, really nicely put on all those. So yeah, totally.
Thanks. Yeah, well, for what it's worth, I don't know that it's like any like super outside the box realization, but right away I started analyzing like, and of course, again, I've been watching the whole drama with Micah Parsons, aside from the Packers, all summer. Kind of like, what is going on? Just pay the man, and that's a you know, that's a chronic problem with Dallas. Just like pay the guy,
yeah.
So, and I'm like, does he really have an injury? Well, no, his MRI is okay. So, you know, he just wanted to get paid, and you shouldn't play on, you know, even a practice game if you don't have a you know, a contract. You just you shouldn't do it. It's very dangerous out there. So
one wrong step and you break an ACL, you know, one weird non-contact thing. And I mean, you think about like, you know, when David Bakhtiari first went down in practice, just before, you know, the playoffs, that's all it takes, one stupid thing to happen in practice, and then all of a sudden, you know, you like you're saying, if you're playing without a contract, you're out of luck. Too bad. You know, injury settlement, and that's it.
Right, exactly.
So yeah,
I mean, you could even not even have something happen on the field. You could like end up with a piece of glass in your foot that came from nowhere.
That's true.
You can't play. Like you can't walk.
You can't walk on that.
By the way, how did I not know there was glass in my foot? It was a very small piece. But it was really sharp, and it was hitting a nerve, and it was very swollen. But I had surgery on that foot from being broken. I thought I just like sprained it or broke it. Because I haven't, I don't know. I thought it was something else basically. And it was very small. And he didn't even really know it right away. And then he was like, oh, there's a piece of glass. I think there's a piece of glass in here. It took him about 10 minutes to find it. Anyway, so True North says, if you want to be a Debbie Downer, we're not Debbie Downers here, but okay. The one downside is that it will be harder to keep some of the depth players in future years. Could you elaborate?
So I was thinking about that. I was going to throw it up in the screen, but you got a chance to before I did it there, Don. I'm glad you put it up there. It kind of brings the question around, like, is it worth it to have a couple of down years if you get a Super Bowl? Does it matter? You know, like, and I don't think we're going to have down years. I just know it's going to be harder to make the budget work, make ends meet. So like, we might lose some players and stuff like that. So we might suffer a little bit, you know, for a couple of years after this season. But if we get a Super Bowl this season, do you even really care? Like, you know what? I kind of don't. Like, because they'll still be good. They'll still be really good. They'll still probably be a top 10 team, you know, as we start to lose some of those depth pieces. Too excited to talk, Don. So like, yeah, that could happen. There could be like the negative fallout of like this huge contract. But if we get a Super Bowl, who cares? I don't.
On the other hand, like winning, there's a momentum to playing, like to losing. Lions have never been to the Super Bowl, and winning, and so sometimes that'll just take you there too, and you'll have interest in other players wanting to come to Green Bay and that kind of thing. And my sister actually sent something. She said, do you remember a certain someone who said people only wanted to play in Green Bay because of that certain someone?
It sounds familiar to me vaguely.
But evidently she had heard, and I'm looking to see if I can, I changed my phone, so I don't know how to like restart it after it goes to sleep because it kept calling people all by itself. It was driving me. Anyway, she said some people were talking about this and actually repeating this. I think she said, where is it? She didn't say who it was, but she heard maybe she was just referring to, you know who, but I thought she meant that other people were talking about during the week that, Parsons isn't going to want to go to Green Bay. Well, he wants to go to a team that's like considered, top 5 chance to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a fun fact from True North. Fun fact, Jordan Love and Micah are good friends. Well, that helps. That. It doesn't surprise me. And Iowa Joe, Sean Ryan, and Sean Ryan, Elton Jenkins, and Rasheed Walker, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, all up for contracts. Okay. This year?
I mean, next year. So, which means they could have maybe gotten extended this year or whatever else.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of contracts. It's a lot of important players and Devonta Wyatt.
Yeah.
We were never going to be able to keep them all anyhow, and with void years, with crazy mechanics, we've seen Russ Ball spin magic before. Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be like ideal in the sense of keeping all of our favorite players, but we have Micah Parsons, so I don't care. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, Micah Parsons along with Jeff Hafley.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Seriously. So, that's going to be crazy this year.
I think I can also credit my sister with saying, telling me that a certain Mrs. Lady Pants in Pittsburgh wants Romeo Dobbs to go there with him.
Yeah. Apparently he was calling the Packers. Like, so what do you guys do with Romeo? What do you think, guys?
They're like, yeah, have your management call us. Who are you?
Yeah, seriously.
Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm just so over this guy. We're not even mentioning the name. Yes, it's a lot of contracts, but I am not worried because these things tend to iron themselves out, period. But especially when you win a Super Bowl. Yeah. I know. Let us have our fun.
That's the thing.
Honestly, we don't know. We don't know, but this is fun. This is fun. Like, this is exciting. And, sure, we haven't played one game yet. It could all, I hope not for Micah Parsons' sake. It could all be not good, but just it's fun. And that's what we're here for, is the fun.
It's fun. And that's what the football's for. It's entertainment.
It is.
Yeah. And when I was walking to the car with my kid, still super excited, obviously, just like I am now, even more so because it's fresher news then. And I was like, look, here's the thing, kid. Like, there's no guarantee that this is going to make us get into the Super Bowl, but it gets us a lot closer, and it's really exciting for now. Yeah. So, because I was trying to turn my own expectations when I said that, but
right. Why? But I mean, why tamp your expectations? Because no games have been played yet. That's so true. This is the time.
Not today.
Be giddy until the first game, and then we're like, oh God, whatever.
Well, and then we smash the Lions, and that'll be awesome.
I hope so, because honestly, if we have one more season where it's like, well, they don't look ready to play football yet, and we'll be ready in a couple more games, I'm going to be extremely excited with our extremely good-looking coach, because that's just that's not acceptable. Okay, we better be ready day one this time. Yeah. Don't you think?
I feel like last year that wasn't as much of a thing, right? Was it? I mean, they're in Brazil, so it was like there are other issues involved. I feel like I might be remembering wrong.
Great.
But it has happened a lot, in the last whatever in the LaFleur era, it's happened a lot.
Yeah.
Emma's got a right exact. She says, "Get the piss hot." Yes.
I find that so repulsive, but okay. I get
and that good one from True North here. He says, I say he for True North. I don't know. True North, but True North says Bears fans are so salty that they lost the offseason. Yes, they had the edge on us for so long. They're doing so great, and then last minute, boom, we won the offseason.
For so many seasons, and I was told, don't feel sorry for him. I'd be like, oh, I feel so sorry for the Lions, and I still kind of revert to that, especially the last couple seasons, because they were so close, and it's like really, because I know how bad it is when you're really close. That's even worse than just being bad all season long, right? Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that was kind of like unintentionally trolling my surgeon, and as he was working on my foot. No, later, not then. After he was And we were like, oh, we'll have a nice season. You know, like I can't take them seriously. I know I should at this point.
So Joe has the thing here I want to talk about, actually. Joe's saying, I do think we have to tamper some expectations because he'll only have a week to get ready for the Lions. Imagine you only see him sparingly. Well, okay, here's the thing, right? I was watching a video today that I should actually shout out more thoroughly than what I'm going to do here because I can't remember the exact name and I don't know the creator, but it was called something like, "We still don't know why people are good at football." Something very similar to that. I'll maybe go find it before we're done so I can say, like, give credit.
I'll find it.
But it was an interesting video, about 20 minutes, talking about how it's hard to know if somebody's actually good at football because there are so many other factors. 11 people per team. There's a lot of, things that influence if somebody is good at football. And the case that they kind of used as sort of the through line as they talked through the argument in various like facets was Sam Darnold. 4 different teams, 4 very different, performance levels, really. And you think about all the things that affects a quarterback's, ability to be good. You got, the O-line's a huge part of it, but the receivers, if you don't have anyone to throw to, and the coach is a huge influence, and just all these other things. So what the guy did is he broke down like which positions are most dependent on the factors around them and which are more independent. Wide receivers are outside of like the chaos of what happens in the middle of the play with, both of the sides in the trenches and everything else happening, all the collisions and stuff right there. The wide receivers on the edge, they're not going to be as affected by everything else around them. And same for edge rushers, because edge rushers is fairly straightforward. Run at the quarterback, get around guys, use your power, your strength, your moves, your prowess to do your job. If you look at like edge rushers who have changed different teams, they stay consistently good. Wide receivers stay consistently good, but quarterbacks not necessarily. Cornerback was a good example of this too. They actually have a lot of ways in which they're dependent on the stuff around them. So Joe, when you say like, will we maybe won't see Micah Parsons as much, I don't know if that's true. I think it might be more like, okay, here's the part of the play you're a part of. Here's what you're gonna be doing, but like in the end, it's freaking run at Jared Goff and knock him down. That's kind of what he's doing here. So right. Maybe he'll be like more integrated a little bit later into the season, but I think we'll see plenty of him in week 1. And I think everyone knows we want to see him. We want to see our shiny new toy out on the field wrecking stuff,
Yes. And was that Michael McKelvey that you're referring to? That you
nailed it. Yes.
Okay.
Did I get the name right?
I think so. And so I saw a brief on that too. I saw a brief reaction from Rich Eisen. I watched a bunch once I sat down and started icing my foot and all that, elevating, blah, blah, blah. And he referred to it as a plug and play position.
There you go.
Right. So some positions are there's more finesse. And of course, he's going to have to get used to how to support and play with the players around him. And we don't know if he's going to be used as how he's going to be used in every single play, which is actually, we don't want to know because that's the surprise. We don't want the other team to know how he's going to be used. So I think actually there's another advantage right there is to having a brand new player right before the season starts that the teams that are going to play us weren't planning on.
That's true.
Talking to you, Lions, game 1, season.
Is it Commanders week 2? Isn't it also like 2 home games back to back?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far ahead. That's a lot of far ahead for me to look. But yeah, the fact that I know it's the Lions.
I can tell you.
I was just like surrounded by Lions today. That was weird. I mean, I could have gotten
Commanders week 2. And of course, the at the Cowboys week 4. So
that's so funny. Exactly 1 month from now. Yes.
I know, right? What are the chances of that?
By the way, as much as I detest him, thank you, Jerry. That was really nice of you.
What an idiot.
Anyway, okay. All right. And True North, what did he say? Yeah, True North has said, "Hey, that's for next week. As to Joe's comment tonight, we're getting high on
hopium and those.
We're getting high on hope. Yeah, That's the fun part. And that's what I was saying. It's like, no, we're not making predictions. That's not what we do here on Hey, We Like Your Pod. That's not what we're here for. Do you even gamble? I don't gamble. Do you gamble?
Me? No. I'm in a fantasy football league, but it's a no money one. It's just for fun.
Right. So no, this is about just having fun and having hope. And that's a great way. I love that hopium. So Maddie, I know before this big breaking news happened, and thank you for the big breaking news. It's just so fantastic. We had a show planned. So it's been about 35 minutes. So did we want to talk? I think we want to talk about what we were going to talk about. And all I want to say, and I do have some things written down and blah, 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 but I don't think it's appropriate to talk about these things. Not that it's downer or anything like that, but I just want to say that I did a show without you, Maddie, on Sunday, and hopefully you guys have seen it drop into your subscriptions, wherever you listen to your podcast or whatever. And it was with surprise guests. It was actually with Jamie Cheesebutt and Steve Perhatch from Packaday. And it was our sort of annual-ish mental health check-in before the season started. And we were talking about how football games can affect our mental health and also other things that affect our mental health. And so I had a few things to mention tonight, but I will save them for another show so we don't go on like for hours. And so because it's just really so off topic. But I will just say that as to mental health, again, let's just enjoy the hopium because this is what it's about. But when things don't go the way we hopium, then let's just try to keep things into perspective and not attack others on social media because that's not healthy.
No. Yeah, and I will say, if folks out there haven't listened to that episode yet with Steve and Jamie, make the time for it. Dawn, it was excellent. Every time you three do a show every year or so, it's beautiful, and I loved it. People should check it out.
And by the way, special props to Steve because he reached out to me. I had been thinking about it. It's like, gosh, we need to get this in the books and all that, but life has been happening. And Steve reached out to me and I didn't see his message right away. It was like weeks later. And I'm like, oh, and so he was really the one who made it happen. And we had some delays and all that, but we got it done and super, super good to, and if you're going to listen to it, and I do recommend it because we've got like 2 weeks now till football, so why not? You can also find our previous episodes, and actually we're starting to show our journey. I thought about that. It's like I need to compile all of it because we're telling our stories and where we're at personally too. We have some personal stories to share. It's not like we're up there saying, giving mental health advice because none of us are, well, Jamie works in that field, but we're not really doing that on YouTube, not on a podcast. That's not appropriate. We're not giving any kind of advice, just kind of tips on, hey, keep it light in the comments, which we can do without having a, degree in psychology or psychiatry. So anyway, you can listen to that and you can even listen to the previous. I'm going to go and do that. The reason I bring it up is I need to go back and listen to how they have progressed over the last 4 seasons. So
it's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, Maddie. So what do you have for us as far as the roster predictions? Who got it right? Who got it wrong?
Yeah.
No, who got it right?
So before I get into it real quickly, just a question for the chat. I'm hearing a lot of echo in my microphone, and my headphones, that is. So I'm just checking to see if you guys are hearing echo. If so, then Dawn, if you have headphones, cool. If you don't, if they're not, they're not a big deal. So
I'm not hearing it. Chat, are you hearing an echo?
Ton of echo in my headphones.
No, I'm just kidding. No echo.
I'm not saying anything. So if it's just me, I'll keep going. Oh, yeah, yes, echo from 2D.
Hi, 2D. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. A little bit. So now if you have some headphones, you can grab them. That'd be great. And I will launch into this.
Yeah, you start talking. I'll start grabbing. And I'm going to mute.
Cool. Perfect. All right. So for those who don't know, every year people put out their 53-man roster predictions as the teams have to get to the cutdown day to get from 90 players on their team down to 53. And people put out predictions about what the final 53 is going to look like. Now, I shouldn't say final, it's the initial 53 because teams always make a lot of changes to the roster in the days right afterwards. It's kind of like there's this initial 53 and it changes quickly. So suffice to say, though, people love to make predictions, put them out there on social media, find sort of like their own angle, their own spin on what's going to happen. And I love seeing these because, I mean, though it's important to acknowledge, of course, that this is a sad day for a lot of players whose careers won't be going past that. Must acknowledge. And yet it's really fun to like think about these things. And as we've talked about in the podcast before, a lot of the reason why people listen to or consume any kind of like sports content is because we want to know what's going to happen. We're curious what's going to happen. What are people talking about? What do people think is going to happen? How do we cope with this, like this unknown? And so like a 53-man roster prediction is a way to try to like, corral that in and try to understand it. And Dawn, you're still muted, so I can't tell if it's echoing or not. So if you unmute, we'll find out here. So in seeing all these different predictions to see what people are saying about what they think the initial 53-man roster for the Packers is going to be, like I find it so fascinating. And so a few years back, actually, I think that with the same time that we started the podcast, I started compiling in a spreadsheet all the ones I could find. It's usually like roughly 40 or so. This year was 41 different predictions because you can see the trends. You can see like what are the players that everyone's like, oh yeah, no, it's going to be, these like 40, let's say, players who everyone's going to agree on. They're going to be in there. And that's what it was this year is 40. What are the different outliers? Who's going to make like a bold claim on somebody who nobody else does? Go against the grain and that kind of stuff. So anyhow, some observations from this year's 53-man roster that, predictions that I called together. So first and foremost, huge props to Paul Brettel because he was the only person who got 51 correct. It was by far, the crowning achievement of anybody. There were a lot of people who got 50 correct.
Okay, pause.
Yeah.
Mr. Paul Brettel.
Mr. Paul Brettel.
Like, isn't he's always like way up top, but 51
I think he's always been,
out of 52.
Yeah. I need to go back and look. I was thinking about this. I think he's always been in the top group, if not the top person. So he's consistent. A thing that they used to joke about when he was still on Pack-A-Day Thursday with, Jason Perone and Mark Eckel. Around this time of the year, Paul be using the phrase reading the tea leaves. So they started like busting his chops with that phrase. But this is a dude who reads the freaking tea leaves. Yeah, so the only one with 51 correct. I was very impressed. So props to him for that. Next thing, I'm going to say the bravest prediction overall goes to our friend Dan Kotnick. So by bravest prediction, I mean, I'll admit when I'm making my 53-man for my own that I'll put out there, I've already like logged, 20 or 30 of these things. So I'm seeing like what the trends are. I'm kind of going a little off of vibes, a little off of that, a little off of, what we've heard from training camp from Andy Herman and such. And by the way, the echo is gone. So yay. Thank you, Don. So suffice to say, there is an element of peer pressure for a lot of people, myself included, when you're making the list. You're like, well, no one's saying this guy. Like, I'm not gonna put that guy in there and look like the one person who had that wrong. So I think there's an element of bravery to like, put your neck out there, make a bold claim. So when I say bravest prediction, it's also the case that Dan had the fewest correct, but that takes some bravery. He was the only person who had both Izzy Abanaconda and Lecitus Smith and also Isaiah Simmons and Christian Welch together. These are very rare things to find in everybody else's predictions. So Dan, for as much as we all bust your chops, I don't bust chops. Don doesn't bust chops.
I only bust strangers' chops. Like Jerry Jones.
Let's say, Dan.
Anyway,
I definitely commend the bravery and the confidence to say no. I stake my claim on these very unpopular takes. That you were wrong, but still, there's
you're so wrong. Yes, I like that. That's great.
Now that said, I do have a tie. That was the bravest overall prediction, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have now bravest single prediction, but it's a tie. So these are two like extreme outliers, two instances of somebody who chose a player that nobody else chose, like just the one person to like say this is gonna be the guy. Though Dan had like the bravest overall prediction for single individual achievements, we have Dale from the Average Cheese podcast. You should check that out, by the way. He said they'd keep Jonathan Baldwin. And Jay Lewick, who is a frequent contributor to the Wednesday Pack-A-Day questions, who was extremely helpful, actually, for me on this whole process, actually, was the only person who said Isaiah Nayor. Hats off. You know, that's a bold claim. And again, it wasn't right. But I commend that. I appreciate that, you know. So they both had some interesting choices in there.
Nice, now, Maddie. I like those takes.
So far, so good, right? I got more, Dawn. I got more.
I want it all. I want it all. No, I'm not rushing you. Take your time.
All right. So next up, biggest surprise. Okay. So of the 41 that predictions that I found and put into the spreadsheet, which, by the way, I should say, you can still go and see it. It's still posted. If you want to get the link to it, it's still like the pinned thing on definitely my Twitter account, maybe also Blue Sky. If not, I'll actually
put it on Blue Sky, please.
It's definitely Blue Sky. No, it's there. I just don't know if I pinned it. So
okay, because I didn't see it, but
yeah, link in either place. So anyhow, 41 submissions, 41 that I found. Of that, 34 people, 34 of the 41 thought we were keeping Isaiah Simmons, and we didn't. Only 8 people thought we're keeping Kamal, and only 4 people thought we're keeping Haddon, for cornerbacks, and we kept them. And in fact, Dawn, nobody said both Kamal and Haddon. Nobody thought we're having both of them, and so that was one that actually, like, that combination, which is really interesting. Nobody got that.
Interesting.
And I thought that was really
well. Part of that is like it just kind of speaks to how secretive the practices are. So we really are it's a shot in the dark because the Packers aren't allowing a lot of coverage on team practices and things. So we only seeing little tiny bits of what they can do, right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So let me see. You gotta see something here. I lost my place. I was saying okay. Don, you want to riff for a second? I gotta find something.
Yes, and True North says when Matt says that Dan has the bravest picks, he really means the craziest. But we don't call people crazy. Well, we might on this podcast. Hopefully not. I probably do. Matt doesn't. Matt's much nicer about that kind of thing.
So I realized I misspoke and some of the names there that probably made me sound like I didn't know what I was talking about, because for a minute there I didn't. The 2 cornerbacks that nobody chose for both. I wrote Kamal and Haddon. That's one person. Kamal Haddon and Micah Robinson are the 2 I'm talking about.
Robinson. Okay.
Yeah, those are the 2 that like very few people had. It was only 8 people said Kamal Haddon, only 4 people said Micah Robinson. Sorry for the confusion there. Nobody said both of them. Was what I was talking about. I was like, I started saying, I was like, this is not right.
It didn't sound right. That's okay. We got you.
So anyhow, that's a thing. And next up, most helpful. So there was one person on Twitter, one person on Blue Sky. Both people went above and beyond to help like find extra predictions are out there. Put them in the comments section. So that I could find them more easily. So big thanks to Humbug on Twitter, and big thanks to Jay Lewick, who I just mentioned on Blue Sky. Oh, and Mark Wellner actually too. I should mention him. So Mark Wellner was also a huge help.
Good. I love him. He's so good.
Love Mark. He's been in the comments before. He's been here with us a few different times.
Yeah, Mark, if you're listening, hopefully you're listening at some point. You need to come on our show. We just love you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So suffice to say, thanks to those guys for that. Next up is best rivalry. So I love this every year. Bruce Edmonds and JJ Leahy have a huge like ongoing rivalry to try to get the best. This year is kind of fun because Bruce had pulled ahead like kind of late into the day, but then at the last minute a couple of like surprising things came out, and especially with who was it that was put on IR? It was kind of surprised. Or let me see. Now I gotta find it again here. Who was it? We all got it wrong. It was Jacob Monk going to IR was a surprise to a lot of people because, in fact, 32 different people thought that Jacob Monk would just be, straight up on the team.
Right.
So when that broke, that was what caused the actual tie to happen between JJ and Bruce. So to see that like so close, Bruce had it almost in the palm of his hand, and then last minute snatched away from him. It was
where did Paul have Jacob?
I'll tell you what, I can tell you exactly what Paul had like incorrect. So just find him. Okay, so Paul with 51 right. His only incorrect guesses, because he did have, I think he had Jacob Monk going to
right. That
he must have had
Jacob
Monk going to Irish because he didn't have him on his list at all. So
right. Oh, okay.
He had said that we would be keeping Christian Welch, which we didn't, and that we'd be keeping Kalen King, which we didn't.
Okay.
But he had Kamal Haddon right. You know, even not Mark Robinson. So yeah, the only two that he incorrectly said was just Christian Welch again and Kalen King. Otherwise, nailed them all. Very impressive.
Nailed it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And let me see, I think I'm just about through them then. Oh yeah, again, how many that everybody got right? 40 of the 53, everyone got right. So that's kind of cool to see that. You know, it goes to, you know, you get a lot of people saying, oh, you know, most of the roster is locked in even before training camp starts. And that's true. I mean, 40 out of 53, I think we all knew were going to happen. That was like a given pretty much. And even then, like, there were many that were, you know, also an extremely large number of people. You know, a lot of them like, let me see. There are some with like 40, you know, so 41 people total. Might have gotten 40 votes of the 41. There's like, you know, some people with like 39. So enough that are also very, very high up. You know, it comes down to how many roster spots were really like, you know, in debate. Like, not a lot. It's true. But enough to make it interesting that people have a range of how many they have, you know, correct from Paul Brettel down to Dan Kotick.
Right. And so even though there's maybe a dozen, it was a particularly, I don't know, vexing cut down this year, don't you think? It was really hard, which is a good position to be in, like to have a lot of good choices. And as we say every year, to those of you who have not made the team, hopefully you will have great success on another team or whatever you do in life. It's just a really sad time to say goodbye to players who many have worked their whole lives for this. And it cannot be easy to, speaking of mental health, it cannot be easy to deal with that kind of, I don't know, rejection. That's what it is. And have to start all over again. But hopefully these guys, and many of them do end up on other teams and do just fine later on. And, you know, so, and sometimes they even come back to our team.
Yeah, that's true. Both what you just said, that's Corey Ballantine for both of those things. He came back for a team and also here he got picked up in another practice squad. So, yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, Todd Varney and Jimmy Christensen are both actually up there for the last preseason game. They were hanging out with Johnny Barks and you know, Monty and Tom Grassi, you know, like you do, you know.
Nice.
And so they were talking on Lombardi's Bar last night about when they were watching the game, and they were actually seated really close to Cornelius Johnson's parents. Now, you know, like Cornelius Johnson, who's that again? Who's Cornelius? What? Yeah, he was one of the wide receivers, you know, kind of far down on the depth chart. No, nobody picked him on their 53, you know, but these are real people. His parents sitting right next to Todd and Jimmy, you know, and they were like super excited every time Cornelius got on the field, and they're talking like he's not getting enough playing time. Like, what's going to happen? Like, do you think he's going to make the team? And like, you know, to everybody who's making their roster predictions, it's like everyone's like, no, he's not going to make the team. But you know, there's that hope to see your kid out there on the field, like with this.
Oh God, I can't even imagine. Right.
I know it's like when they're talking about that, it's like, oh, dang, like that's real, you know.
No, it really affects me every year like this. I get really like into that thinking of the family, the life of working to this goal and toward this goal. And that's one of the reasons I'm a big proponent of NFL teams picking college graduates, not quitting school early, you know, because you know, whether it's an injury or something like this where you just don't get picked and you don't find another team, to have an education and choices to fall back on. And then, that's one of the reasons I really think that's important for players. Because I also think that helps their mental health too. To have choices. That's a good point. It always helps your mental health to have choices.
Yeah, for sure. And
I mean, it's not your first pick. You want to be on a team.
Yes.
But
don't you love to see, like, when players go back and like finish their degrees and it's like announced, like, that they graduate. I love that. I mean, obviously, as somebody whose job is to care deeply about like student success and persistence and graduation. Of course, I care.
That's your
job.
But
like literally my job.
Most of them are college graduates, and that's not something I realized until I started really watching football more and getting into our podcasts and things like that. It's like, that's reassuring that. And then to hear, your role in advising students that you had in your previous, and you even had, who did you have? Matt Pickett? No, not Matt Pickett. You had Kenny Pickett. Did you have Kenny Pickett?
No, but Sauce Gardner went through the major that I advised, but he wasn't actually part of my caseload. But I did meet Sauce Gardner at like his first day of orientation, which is kind of funny. But no, as far as like people who made it to the NFL, I don't think I ever was the advisor for any of them.
Yeah, because there have been a few that have gone through your school, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the Kelsey brothers, for example, famously.
Before
Josiah DeGuara was a Bearcat.
Wow.
There's some out there though that were like definitely notable. Again, Sauce Gardner was a huge one, but there's some other ones out there too. Suffice to say, just love to see them actually finish their degrees. If they leave before they're done.
Yes. If it's very, having education, having hobbies, having things to do when things don't go well in your life, really helps. It really helps. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Joe has a good one here in the chat. I'm gonna throw this up here. Joe says, "Did Matt see they brought Cincy alum Josh Wiley to the practice squad?" Yes, and that made me happy. I didn't know him when he was here, but I did notice that, and I was like, "Ooh, another Bearcat! Love that."
Bearcat. I like it too. Did you watch any of the preseason games for Cincinnati Bengals?
No,
I almost said Bungles. I did not mean to say that.
Well,
that's pretty.
That's a historic nickname for them, actually, but. I'll admit, Don, I didn't even watch all of the Packers preseason stuff this year, which is I know. Yeah. I usually do. But this year there's just with all the house stuff that's happening.
For sure. I watched as much as I could, and I couldn't walk for 2 weeks, so my foot was up, so I had to.
Might as well watch preseason. I did watch, I think, the whole first game. And the second game, I was watching bits and pieces because we were furniture shopping. So whenever I could, I'd like open my phone and watch it. But the third game, we were like out driving around in the country to a furniture store. Couldn't make it happen. But
to a what store?
A furniture store.
Oh, in the country. Okay.
Yeah, way out on the east side of Cincinnati. When it's not even Cincinnati anymore, it's a whole nother county. There's this really amazing furniture store. It's beside all of my points tonight. But just suffice to say, I was unable to watch the third preseason game, and you know what? It's fine.
It's okay. It's all right. You live, but the season is upon us, and next week will be the first week of our 5th Hey, We Like Your Pod season. Our 5th year, Maddie. Can you believe it?
No, that's crazy.
To celebrate, we have Andy Herman of Packet A Podcast to celebrate with us. So super excited. Speaking of Andy Herman, I was watching his live until we went on, and that's partly also why we were late. That's my fault. Anyway,
Andy rushing back to home from Chicago, like while the news was breaking. I felt so bad.
I know. And the funny thing is, I knew that because I had to go watch Paul Farrington. Because Paul and Ziggy were crying, and I love that. I mean, who doesn't love to see a Vikings fan suffer? I mean, it was wonderful.
Paul Farrington. I love you, man.
It was so good. I love it. I love those guys. They're very open about their hating the Packers and being, and they don't just talk about, oh gosh, they got this player and we're really sad, but they really get into the whole history of the Packers and why it's just like, man. But it really makes me appreciate being a Packers fan and the organization and everything they've been able to do.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. It helps you remember like what a great and storied team it is.
Yeah.
Let's just give a quick shout out to Paul Farrington and Ziggy and the guys on his show. If all of our listeners here aren't already like listening to or checking out their shows, you really should. Yes, they're Vikings fans, but they talk about Packer stuff pretty much as Viking stuff.
More. They have more.
Yeah, they realize that's like their niche is to be like the punching bag Vikings fans. They do excellent work. It's always a fun show. Paul's been on the show. With
Paul's been on the show, not with Ziggy, but with
I can't think of his name. No, shoot.
I'm so sorry. Now I'm super
I know. I feel terrible. What the
that
other guy?
Was terrible, but okay.
To say,
it's been a long day.
We love the show. We love Paul. We love all the guys on Paul Farrington
love the show.
And
we love
all
be
checking it out too.
Yeah, for sure. And did you know that Andy? They finally got Tom Grossi. Paul was like texting me, "How do I get Tom Grossi?"
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's so sweet, and like. Just be patient. He's busy, and he did. I haven't had a chance in my watch list, but they also are going to be doing something. I think on a weekly with Andy, but we'll hear about it here next week.
There you go. There you go.
So that'll be great.
So we're going to be on Wednesday night next week, though, with Andy.
Next
is that
week
right?
It'll be Wednesday in honor of Thursday. We want to have all our eyes on Thursday night football. We don't want to be distracted. So. Andy wanted to come on Wednesday, so that'll be week 1 of our new season 5, year 5.
Wow.
Maddie, can you believe year 5?
I know, isn't that crazy? Oh, it says that's with New England too, Don. Since it will be Thursday Night Football being back, in the off season we've been starting at 9:30 on 9:30 Eastern time, whatever weird time it is in your weird time zone, Don. Was that
my weird time zone?
6:30 or something, or was it 9, 8, 7, 6:30 in your time zone? 8:30 Lambeau team time. But now season back, in full swing as it's about to be Thursday Night Football. So Thursday nights will be starting at halftime,
which is thereabouts
the same 9:25 and 10ish. That's in that range. It's close, but we'll be going live stream at halftime. Yeah, Thursday Night Football.
That's a good. Yes, thank you for reminding me. And we're gonna try, Maddie, because I hate missing. Well, there's especially certain games that I don't want to miss. Any of the games, so because sometimes we go longer than halftime, halftime is like 20 minutes, right? So we'll try to keep our podcast minutes. 12.
Yeah,
really?
if it's a good game that people care about, we'll try to keep the podcast zippy,
nice and
snappy. If it's we'll have to make sure any guests that we want to have on, which we guess
those
on
won't
again,
be on the important games, right?
Those have been the dumb games nobody cares about. That's
dumb games. There is no dumb game. As far as I'm concerned, I watch every single game that I can get my hands on.
But some of them are terrible.
But some are more, for sure. All right. Because the Lions aren't dumb or the Bears. Never.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Joe asked a question, actually. We'll figure this out off camera, but he does say, is this going to interfere with Lombardi's bar? I don't know what time we have Andy penciled in for. We'll talk about this afterwards. Joe, thanks for reminding me.
Okay, we'll talk about it. I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Yeah, we will figure it out because Matt you're producing Lombardi's Bar, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So
could they get by without me? They could totally get by without me. It's not that fancy what I do, but I would, like to be able to be there for it. So anyhow, Dawn, that's all I've got this week. How about you?
All right. All I have, we're going to let the final thought before we sign off go to Too Deep. So good to see you. Interesting. Too Deep says, interesting. So Packers fan knew the Parsons trade was a possibility. Yes. I had no idea they were even talking trades. Well, that wasn't official, but we kind of knew. Yeah. And Parsons was having obviously problems with Jerry Jones. I thought it was a contract negotiation. That was a lot of posturing by inevitable. Yeah. It was all of that. It was definitely some posturing because when Jerry Jones is involved, there's always posturing. But I think national, especially national broadcasts, knew that where there's smoke, there's fire, and Parsons might not be a cowboy, which is really, and everyone was like, no, Jerry, don't be so stupid. But thankfully he was. Okay. Cool. Awesome. No.
Okay. Trudeau's got a banger before we leave. Yeah. Trudeau says the terrible games. You mean Cowboys games this season? Burn.
But I will pay to see that, like big money.
There you go.
All right, Maddie, let's bring her home. And by the way, thank you again, chat, for joining us. It's always fun to be able to feature you on the show. And we will see you next Wednesday, right? Before we sign off, I just want to remind us that it's everyone, including myself, that it's next Wednesday, the day before the season starts.
Very exciting. Very exciting. And yeah, I just want to echo that. It means more than I think we tell you all often enough that you show up in the chat. For the folks who do, it means the world to both of us. Really, really appreciate you guys being there.
100%. It makes it come alive. It makes everything come alive, and it just adds a whole different dimension to our show. So loving it. Yep. Thank you for being here.
Live. And of course, also that for the people who are listening afterwards, just if you're taking your time to listen to us babble on like we do, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We know who you are and we appreciate you.
So anyhow, to bring it home, friends, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod, and we look forward to seeing you Wednesday on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.